I bet that Ecolab would go down, but it didn't. It went up and hit my stop loss. What does that mean? It means, yes, I lost money on this trade. And I want to show you this lesson. We are not going to win on every trade. We will win on most trades, but on some trades we will lose. But we are going to learn how to know how to lose. This is the turning point, the key for the profession of buying and selling stocks in the stock market to be long-lasting and to have enough margin between gains and losses to keep moving upward. Today's lesson is wonderful because it shows the loss we had, and it's extremely important for us to know how to lose even before we know how to win. It's the same thing in a fight. Before you attack, you have to know how to defend yourself. It's exactly the same thing in the market. Look how interesting this is. So our first analysis was that in the week of October 27th, Ecolab could drop, right? So there was a 10% chance of a drop, and we told our clients, guys, Ecolab looks interesting. There's room for it to fall. It's at $256.40. Can we sell it and buy it back cheaper tomorrow? Yes, that's fine, no problem. When we make this sale before anything else, we already decide how much we're willing to lose if this sale goes wrong. And that's the main lesson of this video here. So look, I sold at 256, but I said if it goes up to 278, I'll buy it back. And that difference of $22 is my loss. I already know that this can happen, and I will limit my loss. So if I buy 10 shares, I could lose $220. If I buy 1,000 shares, I could lose $22,000. So that's the point, knowing how much you can lose before you buy. And in the market, many things change overnight and we need to be protected. Otherwise, we won't have the emotional stability or peace of mind to handle this movement, to take advantage of these trades. And look what happened here. So we looked at Ecolab and said, guys, we can sell and try to buy it back cheaper tomorrow. $256.40 is good. We can do that. And so we did. But look, we had already set it at $278.40 here. So in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, it didn't move in my favor. It moved against me. And on this day here, on January 20th, 2026, I exited the trade with a loss of $22 because that's what I had already planned. So I made a sale, waited for the weeks to go by, and didn't do anything else. During all those weeks, I did nothing because there was nothing to be done. And here we said, we can't hold on any longer. Let's take the loss. The smallest loss is always the first one. Learn this. So basically, here we have this movement against us and a loss already. Actually, it was a little more. It was $26 because it closed a bit higher, and I had a loss of $2,418, which I'll explain to you in a moment. But today you might look and say, Gustavo, but it came back. Look, if you hadn't stopped out, you'd be in profit again. I know, but look at the rally it had after my stop. 10% above my loss limit. There's no human being in the world who can sleep peacefully watching their losses grow like that, and it could keep going up, 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 and the loss could become enormous. People lose money in the market because they don't control these losses. It's simply, in a moment like this, letting things go completely against you. You can't sleep anymore, you can't think straight, it affects your next trades, and things just don't go well. So we took the loss, right then and there. We didn't know, but even then, after they had dropped, it's all good. We took that money and are buying and selling other stocks. So we made that bet, which didn't work out. We had to use our safety belt with a $26 loss. And what did I do here? I sold 93 shares at $256.40. $23,845.20 is what I put in my pocket to make this trade. These 93 shares brought me a $26 loss here, giving me a total loss of $2,418. That was within what I could afford to lose. And folks, this is the most valuable lesson you'll ever have in your life when it comes to buying and selling stocks in the market. Why? Because in no other profession do you open a restaurant saying, oh, I'll only lose $5,000 this month if everything goes wrong. No. Sometimes there's a flood, sometimes there's a pest, sometimes the roof collapses, sometimes the oven breaks and you have to buy another one, sometimes there's a problem with an employee and you have to replace them at a higher cost. You never know what might happen, but here we do know and we need to respect that. By respecting that, in this case, I'm going to sell 93 shares. Why? Because I had the patience and calm to keep following my plan all these weeks, and I closed out my position with a loss, yes, of $2,418. It's all right, it's all right. That's how we keep going. Why? Because in many other cases, I had profits much higher than this. So one thing makes up for the other. What really matters is our growth year after year. When you look at a company, you don't judge whether it's a good or bad company. If you have a business, right, you opened a shoe store, every month you'll look at how much you've grown year after year. It's the same thing here. So we're going to have to sell some at a loss, some at a profit, some at a loss, some at a profit. And that average needs to be positive. If it's positive, we have a business, a very long-lasting and prosperous profession. So that was our investment in Ecolab, basically with these adjustments, or rather this protection being activated. And I'm not here sharing any profit. I'm sharing a loss because it's by learning from losses and learning how to protect yourself the right way that you'll have longevity in the market. May God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye.